It is significant, and I think that for the king, it must have been quite a challenge personally, because it's his brother. But the monarchy is his principal responsibility and serving the nation. And this was entirely necessary in order to make it clear that the king wishes to put a distance between these horrific Epstein allegations and all that that means, and the work that he does as head of state and other members of the working royal family are doing every day.
And so, obviously, as you say, a challenge for the king. How much of a challenge for Andrew? How will he react to this stripping of all his titles and benefits, if you like, having to move out of Royal Lodge?
Well, it's a huge humiliation for him. And also, I think leaving the house that you have come to know as home is extremely unsettling for anybody. He will, however, get through it and deal with it. He has always known through the life of his late mother and his brother that as a member of the royal family, there is a higher duty to serve and to sometimes put self-interest to one side. And the king has made it clear that this is what Andrew must now do, and he will take that on. And, the processes that were signalled in the statement yesterday of the removal of style, title and honour, and I presume in due course a reflection on things like the order of succession, all of these elements are a clear move by the king to make it absolutely certain that the public know he is taking it extremely seriously.
And how will Andrew support himself now? How will he be funded?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I imagine that at the death of his late mother and during the period of his mother's life at different points, I'm sure that Elizabeth II did something to support her son. He also will have his pension from the Royal Navy. He served as an officer in the Royal Navy until he left that service and went into royal duties. And so I suppose that will be part of it, but I don't know the actual details beyond that yet.
And do you think he'll ever be invited to any even private royal occasions? Do you think that's likely? Are we likely to see him with them ever?
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is a brother to the king, an uncle to the future king. He's part of a family. I would imagine that when members of the family have weddings or mark big events or go to funerals, that he will attend. But I think what we won't see is Andrew Mountbatten Windsor using the main door of churches when there is public interest in the attendance of members of the royal family. I think he will come in and leave those events privately. But at the same time, although you can expunge all style, title, and honour, you can't expunge the blood ties that people have to their family. And Andrew Mountbatten Windsor strenuously denies the allegations that are made against him. And in due course, that may have to be addressed. But in the meantime, families sometimes have people amongst their number who are facing allegations or who are in positions of difficulty. And I don't think you lose those ties of affection and a lifelong association with someone. And I don't think that the king is that kind of person.
And also, clearly, questions about what happens to his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, and his two daughters as well. What does this all mean for them?
Well, first of all, Sarah Ferguson has already stated that she no longer wishes to be called Sarah, Duchess of York, which was her style since the date of her divorce. Now, I know that she has spent much of her time close to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, but at the same time, she will have to find her own way, like most people do. I don't know what the specifics of that will be, but I'm sure they'll become clear. But according to the 1970 Royal Warrant of King George V, written in the middle of the First World War, both Beatrice and Eugenie remain princesses and royal highnesses in accordance with that royal warrant. And we've seen a lot of use of royal warrants literally yesterday, where the king has pioneered a totally new way of removing a dukedom. And I think it stems from the fact that in 1998, the Duke of Edinburgh made it clear that he and other royal dukes at that time would no longer play a part in Parliament, which was all part of the removal of hereditary peerages. But their peerages remained on the peerage roll. And I think what the king has done here is make sure that he can remove the use of that peerage without using parliamentary time.